Welcome to a very exciting LEGO review here on Jurassic Collectibles. Today we have LEGO set 76961 Visitor Center T-Rex and Raptor Attack. And this is the biggest set from the Jurassic Park 30th anniversary line. You can see if we bring it a bit closer, the bulk of this set is a facade of the Visitor Center. We get Grant, Sattler, Lex and Tim, a Velociraptor, the T-Rex, Ray Arnold, Henry Wu, and some other bits and pieces. You can see a better look at the figures on the box just there. Some really cool character inclusions in this one. The Jurassic Park 30th anniversary logo is present throughout the packaging, as you can see just there. On the top we get a 1/1 size for Grant, and what I really like is that Grant, Sattler, Lex and Tim aren't their normal versions, they are the survivor versions after they've escaped the Rex paddock. So if you have bought these figures in the past, you are not getting duplicates in this set. We get this gorgeous red and green colour for the Ford Explorer as the packaging, and then on the back we get this wonderful silhouette that has some of the dinosaurs in the wave. You can see other animals we have never received in LEGO form, including the Parasaurolophus. We get a closer look at the interior, which does have a build for a T-Rex skeleton, as I think anyone who's familiar with the film would expect. You can then see the couple of interior rooms, the sort of kitchen food area where Lex and Tim have the ice cream and the jelly and everything else, and then a laboratory for Dr. Henry Wu. The Rex with the banner that says "When Dinosaurs Ruled the Earth," so cool to see that included here, and also a couple of points to open this set up from. So we are going to open this one right here on camera and take a closer look. And what I will do, I'll open this up with you, we'll see what's in here, and then I will go away and build it, and we will come back for the rest of the review. So you can see when we open this one up, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bags of LEGO, and then additional elements which will be the dinosaurs, plus the instructions in a protected cardboard cover. So if I move those out of the way, angle the camera down, you can see not a massive amount of LEGO for the $114.99 price point, and that is something we will talk about as we build this set, as we take a closer look at its features, some of the things I like and perhaps some of the things I don't like so much. So with all of that said, guys, that's the set unassembled, and now we're gonna cut to it assembled. Hello everyone and welcome back. As you can see, we have assembled the Visitor Center. We've got the dinosaurs, got the little T-Rex build just back there, and of course the minifigures. And I have to admit, I am pleasantly surprised with this set. I still feel it's a bit overpriced for what you get, but the build for the Visitor Center actually feels pretty substantial, and the dinosaurs are great, the minifigures are cool, so all in all I'm really happy with the sort of overall offering here, and I'm excited to talk more about it. So we're going to move the build out of the way, we are going to move the dinosaurs out of the way, and we are going to start by taking a closer look at the minifigures, and we'll go left to right. So the first minifigure we have here is Lex Murphy. Now Lex, Tim and the rest of the minifigures come in their survivor appearances. So you can see this is Lex's shirt where it's all muddied and browned after she has been through the Tyrannosaur enclosure. So it's a cool unique variant of Lex that actually looks quite damaged almost in a sense, which is quite interesting to see. And as you can see there, she does have the two different faces. Now next up we get a version of Ray Arnold that is different to the version that came with the D2C Gate set, this version being in the shirt and tie. You can see we got some chest hair on show, we've got a bit of a sort of cocky grin, and then the other face is a grimace, presumably when he is in the maintenance shed. So really cool to see Ray again this time around, and I really appreciate LEGO giving us a variant so people who bought the gate set still have a unique figure. We then have Ellie Sattler in the blue vest after she has escaped the maintenance compound. You can see there's dirt and grime on her. You've got a slight smile there on one side, and then her terrified expression on the other side. The only unfortunate thing with this figure is the safari shorts. They are a more accurate colour, but unlike previous Ellie figures, there is no printing on the side or the back, so LEGO have opted to not use a dual mould. While that is cheaper, it's a shame that it's a downgrade from previous versions of a minifigure. In my opinion, if we have a character who we've got before, latter versions of that character should always be an upgrade. So that is somewhat disappointing. We also have got Dr. Alan Grant, again in his survivor appearance, the shirt being printed on a darker blue to make it look wet and sort of more grimy. You've got the mud splatter on both sides, which is handled really nicely. Only a single face print for Alan, and not the best Sam Neill likeness in the world, but not awful by any stretch of the imagination. A decent rendition of Alan. We then have got young geneticist Dr. Henry Wu, and one thing I love with this figure is LEGO have used a different skin tone that they've introduced recently for Wu, which is so much more accurate to BD Wong, so this looks fantastic. It really does look like young Wu. You can see we've got the lab torso, which doesn't have any exposed flesh here as well, so you could use this for other Jurassic Park workers. And all in all, Wu is a cool minifigure, and he does get the smile we see when he first walks into the lab and is greeted by John Hammond as well. So very, very cool to get Wu in the set. And then last but not least is Timmy Murphy, again with his clothes worn through and dirty, so you can see the jacket comes in an almost orange colour. Would work really well for a Dominion Grant jacket actually, if you could somehow get rid of the shirt underneath. And then the same face that comes on Lex as well. Now for the dinosaurs, we do get two in this set. We get the T-Rex and the Velociraptor, and we also get a build of a dinosaur which we will look at in a minute. The T-Rex here is a really cool rendition of the Rex. You can see the printing on it. It's got battle scarring like what we first saw in the Jurassic World Dominion line. It's the exact same T-Rex sculpt we've come to expect, but it looks very, very nice with the scars. Still, I would argue not quite as accurate as I would like, but I think it's a good enough rendition of the Jurassic Park Rex in LEGO form. I can't complain too much. It's got all the articulation we'd expect. It's got the newer sculpt for the claws with the two fingers. And all in all, it's a solid figure. I'm glad that LEGO have released this version of the Rex for us. Very, very nice inclusion. Okay, and then on to what is arguably my favourite LEGO dinosaur to ever be released. The JP Velociraptor. This feels like it takes so much inspiration from the design scene in the LEGO Jurassic World game, and it looks absolutely fantastic. You can see that there is so much detail in the printing on the head, the printing on the body. You've got black claws, you've got greys, you've got the opening jaw that all of the Velociraptors have with the yellowing teeth. This is a fantastic rendition of a Velociraptor by LEGO. Really, really happy with this one. Very glad that there's an opportunity to get two in the line, even if the other set that a Velociraptor comes in isn't my personal favourite. And all in all, I am very, very grateful to LEGO for giving us such a detailed Velociraptor in the sets. They could have easily gone a different direction, but it feels like with this they focused on detail and it looks fantastic. So very, very happy with the dinosaur. And then the T-Rex statue. You can see the build is pretty decent for the T-Rex statue. We do have a little name tag that says T-Rex. You can open and close the jaw, that move the neck. There's a really smart part usage for the arms there, which is a handlebar piece. And then you do have articulation in the tail, legs are on ball joints and you can move them around if you want. So you do get a fair bit of play with this animal. Now obviously it's nowhere to scale of the actual T-Rex. As you can see there, the comparison is pretty non-existent, but it is a decent enough rendition, and you could argue it's a juvenile. Obviously the skeleton is so iconic in the visitor centre that clearly LEGO wanted to find a way to include it here whilst not massively pushing up the budget of the set, so it's a cool inclusion nonetheless. And then we come on to what is arguably the best part of the set, the visitor centre itself. And as you can see from that front profile, they have done a really nice job of capturing some of the iconic sort of angular nature and designs of the visitor centre. This sort of protruding outwards aesthetic works really well. You can see the doors just there have got the dinosaur fossil stickers, which work really nicely, and they are also on a new piece or a relatively new LEGO piece, which gives you double doors, which is awesome. There is the illusion of water and the bottom just there, as you can see, so that's a really nice nod to the water fountains that are out the front of the visitor centre. And you can see there's lots of vegetation on either side alongside the curved pieces here and the black window frames to really capture the aesthetic of this particular area in the park. Obviously it's such an iconic building. I think the entry gates work well. The tiered roof as well particularly looks actually really good. In the promo pictures I wasn't so convinced by the way they'd done the sort of middle and the smaller sides, but I think the perspective on this works really well, especially when you look at it with all of it in shot. And the red banners on either side are really nice as well. You get bricks which come out on the sides to give the illusion that the building goes on further, and although it does largely function as a facade, it works really well at capturing the aesthetic value of the visitor centre. It's clear that a lot of work went into getting this to look as close as it could at this scale, and yes, granted this isn't the larger scale visitor centre that many of us have wanted, but if you're looking for a building that really does emanate some of that classic Jurassic architecture, this is a fantastic stand-in. And who knows, maybe down the line we will get our direct-to-consumer visitor centre. Now turning the set around, you can see the sides angle out, so you essentially have two wings and then a central area here. You can see the area where the doors open. There's a couple of plant pots and the back sides of some very cool murals that we will look at, and also the When Dinosaurs Ruled the Earth sign, which is a plasticky material piece. You can push on one side, there is a little mechanism to launch that out so you can make it full, and that is really the main play feature in this set, which is quite cool. They have definitely focused more on aesthetic than play features here. So as we move this around, you can see that one side of the lab is one side is a lab, and I'm gonna just angle the camera up a bit so I can give you a closer look. So you can see in there the egg incubator screen, Mr. DNA in the background, the amber piece we've seen before with the mosquito in it, some amber being studied under a microscope, and then as we come around to this side, you get that fantastic Parasaurolophus mural, a Lego style Parasaurolophus. This is on a glass piece, so there's a lot of transparency coming through there, which is really cool. You can see Mr. DNA, and then the egg machine complete with the little crane arm that we see in the film. And if you don't want the crane arm in there, you can raise it and lower the cover like so. So really cool to see that included here. Not a lot of stud space in here. If we were to bring Henry Wu in, we can maybe stand him there. You can see that gives you an idea of the playable space, When I say this is a facade, there isn't a lot of tile space inside it to fit minifigures in. You really have like your consoles and that's it. So one side here, as you can see, is the lab. And then if we come around to the other side, we have got the dining area. So you can see right at the back there, that fantastic Velociraptor mural that's so iconic. You have a frog, one of which is included in every set, as a nod to how the dinosaurs are made, as a bit of icing on top of the cake. You have some other sweet treats just there. You can see some ice cream just there. I'm just going to grab a torch so I can show you a little bit more detail in there. If we just light this up, you can see lots of cool sweet pieces in there. Then the table and chair just here, complete with the jelly that Lex has as well. I do find it quite amusing that LEGO chose to give us actual LEGO chairs, because the figures cannot sit at them, they would have to stand. So you can stand the children there, as you can see, but it's quite amusing that they're using legs which mean they have to stand. Again, not a massive amount of space. You can see a little roof fan in this bit as well, but with Tim positioned in there, you get an idea of just how much space you have in the visitor centre. And that really, in a nutshell, is the visitor centre itself. As you can see inside there going all around. So if we bring everything back together, I will give you some of my closing thoughts on this set. And I have to admit, despite it being on the pricier side, despite it may be benefiting from more minifigures, I do think we could have maybe seen Ian Malcolm included here. I have to admit, it's a really good set. I cannot really complain about it other than the price point. I think the price point is the biggest thing that lets a lot of the sets in this wave down. They are very, very expensive, but for what you're paying here, you do get a really cool set that captures the aesthetic of the visitor centre really nicely. You get some cool minifigures which are unique new variants, and you also get a couple of really cool dinosaurs. I really appreciate that the designers didn't choose to rehash the control room or the kitchen. They gave us new locations from the visitor centre which we haven't seen before, and they managed to fit them in really nicely in a compact playset. Don't get me wrong, this isn't the D2C set many of us have been clamouring, but this is a fantastic stand-in for it, and if you are a Jurassic Park fan, you need to add this LEGO set to your collection. I genuinely do not think you will regret picking this one up. That's it for my review on the Visitor Centre set. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Do make sure to like, favourite and subscribe, and stay with us throughout Jurassic June as we look at lots more Jurassic Park 30th anniversary merchandise. As always guys, take care and have a great week.